The canyon felt unnaturally still. Too still. Towering redstone cliffs pressed inward from both sides, their jagged faces carved by centuries of wind, rain, and forgotten storms. Fine dust drifted lazily along the canyon floor, carried by a weak breeze that seemed afraid to make noise. Into this silence marched the alien patrol, moving in tight, disciplined formation. They were Virexian soldiers, tall, broad-shouldered, blue-skinned beings with 4 glowing eyes and hardened exoskeleton armor. Each carried a plasma rifle, supported by hovering reconnaissance drones that scanned every crack and shadow. These were not recruits. They were veterans of 3 expansion wars, conquerors of 7 species who had learned what mercy was, and chosen to ignore it. This world was supposed to be empty. Designation: Human Frontier Planet, Theta 9. Orbital bombardment years earlier had erased all settlements. Official scans showed no life signs, no infrastructure, no resistance. Today's mission was simple: conduct a final sweep before full-scale strip mining began. In and out. Clean and easy. Captain Galactic raised one clawed hand. The patrol stopped instantly. Something was wrong. The drones dipped lower as their sensor arrays flickered erratically. Motion pings echoed faintly from the canyon walls, distorted and inconsistent. Galactic narrowed his eyes, instincts screaming warnings he could not yet explain. Then he saw them. 6 ground vehicles rested against the canyon wall, half buried beneath layers of dust and stone. Human-made trucks, large, armored, their frames scorched black and their tires shredded beyond repair. They looked abandoned. Dead. Lieutenant Kresh clicked his mandibles in amusement. Primitive machines, he muttered. Galactic did not respond. Human technology never impressed him, but it unsettled him. Not because it was advanced, but because it was stubborn. Humans did not discard equipment lightly. When they left something behind, it was usually for a reason. Scans returned nothing. No power signatures. No heat. No active signals. The trucks were silent, cold, lifeless. Still, Galactic felt a sharp prickle along his spine. Advance slowly, he ordered. The patrol spread out, weapons raised, drones sweeping every angle. They approached the nearest vehicle, an enormous 8-wheeled transport with thick armor plating and external cargo racks. Its faded white paint was cracked and burned, but one word remained barely readable on its side. Rescue. Kresh laughed again. Looks like they failed, he said. Galactic stepped closer, ignoring the comment. The truck smelled wrong. Not decay, but oil, scorched metal, old fire, and something sharper beneath it all. A chemical scent he recognized too well. Explosives. Hold position, Galactic warned. Too late. A young private had already reached the rear hatch. He tapped it with his rifle. No response. He reached for the handle. Wait! Galactic shouted. The hatch creaked open slowly, the sound echoing unnaturally through the canyon. Darkness filled the interior, then red emergency lights snapped on, bathing everything inside in crimson. Every Virexian soldier froze. The truck was not empty. It was packed solid with human weapons. Crates were stacked to the ceiling: missiles, rockets, rail cannons, slug throwers, mines, demolition charges, folded drones locked into launch racks. And at the center sat a single reinforced seat. Occupied. A human skeleton was still strapped in place. Helmet intact. Hands clenched tightly around a manual trigger bar, as if frozen mid-duty. Galactic felt his blood turn to ice. He never left, Kresh whispered. A recording terminal crackled to life. A human voice echoed across the canyon, calm, steady, and exhausted. This is Sergeant Aaron Cole, 3rd Logistics Battalion, Earth Federation. The patrol stood motionless. If you're hearing this, the evacuation didn't succeed. Our orders were clear: deny all resources to the enemy. Including ourselves. The skull faced forward, as if still watching the canyon entrance. We parked the trucks where your scanners would notice them. We cut all power. And then we waited. Static hissed. You always investigate abandoned equipment. Jalek felt something twist painfully inside his chest. Each vehicle carries a fully autonomous retaliation system, the voice continued. Manual arming only. No remote control. No shutdown codes. No surrender options. The private screamed. Once this hatch opens, the recording said quietly, the system wakes up. The canyon exploded. Hidden mines detonated in perfect sequence, ripping the canyon floor apart. Stone walls collapsed inward. Drones vanished in fireballs. One by one, the trucks roared to life. Engines thundered. Turrets unfolded. Missile pods extended with mechanical precision. The human skeleton slumped forward as the final command completed. Then the trucks began firing. Not randomly. Precisely. Every shot was calculated. Every missile locked onto a target with merciless accuracy. The Virexian patrol scattered in panic, firing wildly as they tried to escape, but there was nowhere to run. Plasma bolts slammed into the trucks and dissipated harmlessly. Human armor absorbed the energy without slowing. Missiles screamed through the canyon. Fire and steel turned the narrow passage into an inferno. One soldier vanished in a flash of light. Another was crushed beneath collapsing rock. Jalek dove behind a boulder as shockwaves tore through the ground. Retreat, someone screamed. Retreat. The trucks advanced anyway, autonomous, tireless, unstoppable. The human voice played again through the smoke. This is not an attack, it said evenly. This is a lesson. Never touch what humans leave behind. The final truck unfolded its side panels. Something enormous extended outward, a heavy rail cannon. It fired once. The canyon floor split open. The shockwave hurled Jalek against the rock wall. His armor cracked. His vision blurred as darkness crept in. When the smoke finally cleared, the trucks shut down one by one. Engines died. Turrets folded away. Silence returned, as absolute as before. Jalek crawled from the rubble. He was alone. Every soldier was gone. Every drone destroyed. The truck sat motionless once more, silent, lifeless, as if nothing had happened. Dragging himself forward, Jalek reached the open vehicle. Inside, the human skeleton remained strapped in place, hands still gripping the trigger. Then he understood. The human hadn't waited minutes. Or hours. He had waited years. He had stayed behind while his people fled. He had turned himself into part of the weapon. The terminal flickered one last time. Humans do not retreat, the voice said softly. We prepare. Far above the planet, the Virexian command fleet received the report. They listened in silence. Theta 9 was reclassified. Human denial world. Extreme risk. No mining operations approved. No salvage permitted. No investigation allowed. Across the galaxy, the story spread. Alien patrols found abandoned human vehicles and learned to fear them. Because inside was never just a trap. It was a promise. Humans may leave, but they never leave the fight behind.